Now we roll into the committee of the whole. And here we just discuss what is going to be voted on.
Okay, I'd like to call to the order of the Oregon City Committee of the Whole meeting for January 5th, 2026. The time is 6:45. No need for a pledge of allegiance. We already did that. Committee of the Whole meeting, we went through roll call of council, so we won't do that. I just want to make sure people know that City Administrator Joel Major's here, Clerk of Council Josette Snyder, Public Service Director Paul Roman, Chief of Police Brandon Began, Assistant Chief Ryan Spangler, Fire Chief Clayton O'Brien, Assistant Chief Mark Mullins, Finance Director Nick Roman. First order of business this evening is persons and delegates. First person up is Mr. Joe Upham. Mr. Upham? Mr. Upham, please state your name and address for the record, please.
Joe Upham, 539 Ansonia. It's pretty much just a rant. I was not very involved with council at all, or any of these meetings before. I come out here just to hear about the data center. I want to know, get my own interest about it, and this isn't about the data center, but what has spurred from the data center is what caught my eye, and I don't like it. I grew up on teams. You might not have liked each other, but you played together to win the game. All right? You guys, this shouldn't be happening at all. Whether you don't like each other or not, get along. Make it happen. That's what we voted for you guys to do. I don't like that meetings are canceled. Constantly, I see that now. And I understand towards the end of the year, holidays, everyone's got stuff to do. But this city needs to be ran by you guys. That's why we elected you. I don't need to hear people complaining on news about what's going on about our city. Our city just needs to be ran. Please do that. If not, step down. We'll figure it out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Upham. Okay, next up is Rich Nelson. Rich, please state your name and address for the record, please.
Rich Nelson, 6419 Corduroy Road, Oregon, Ohio. First off, I'd like to congratulate Paul Drake, new president.
Thank you.
Congratulate Mr. Gibbs. Welcome aboard. And Dave, I will welcome you. I won't congratulate you because you didn't earn it. Congratulations to those who earned. Unfortunately, you did not earn it. Dave, I have a couple things for you. I said, I'm still mad about what went down last month. That was wrong. Like I said, then I'm not alone, trust me, whatsoever. Okay. Dave, first, do you remember the conversation you had with Mario Reeves at Synovus a couple weeks ago? You had told him that Kathy led you to believe that Tom was not interested in the spot on council. Second, she also told you that Tom would not make a good fit for Oregon Council. My question to you is, did this not raise any red flags with you? For me, it would. Like, why would a guy who spent his money campaigning just not want the seat? Like, I got $5,000 to throw away. Piss it away. I don't want the spot. Secondly, why is he not a good fit? And if he's not a good fit, I want to know, because maybe I wouldn't have voted for him. So you have information that 2,000 people want to know. Why is he not a good fit? What were you told? Because that is a serious question.
Mr. President?
Mr. Andres.
Andres.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Could you repeat what I said to Mario? Is this in the cafeteria?
He said you guys met at Synovus, exact word for word.
Okay, now.
You told him that Kathy.
Hang on, Mr. Nelson, Dave, go ahead. He hit the floor. I'm sorry.
I did meet Mario in the cafeteria. He told me, boy, you got into a whole bunch of trouble. And I said, I had no idea that this would cause this many problems.
You had to know.
I don't remember saying anything specific about Tom. I've met Tom since, and he is a very able candidate. He would do just as good a job as I would. And I don't ever remember telling anybody that there was something lacking about Tom Lambrick. I don't recall that in the conversation I had with Mario. I just kind of shook my head. I was in the cafeteria. It was kind of another interaction I had with the public where they said, I feel sorry for you, you know, this was horrible, why did this happen? And I don't recall making any comments about Tom.
Well, this is, like I said, I wish he was here. I'm talking for him. He had to work tonight. But if you didn't, that's fine. He talked to me right after your conversation, told me all this stuff. I said, you can't be here tonight. And if you're telling me you think Tom's a great person, I know Tom's a great person. I know you're a good person. Step down and give it to earned it. You would get everybody's respect. If you really want this job, you really want it, step down, run 2 years now. You get everybody's respect, and we would vote for you. I would vote for you. But by doing what you're doing now, nobody respects you. You're like the rich kid whose dad owns a company. You step in over everybody else's toes who busted their butt to get there, and you step right in. No one respects that person. We all know that. You know, you do the right thing, because that was wrong. You can, whatever you do to make it go to sleep at night, like Steve, like he said, people didn't want the next person in line. Beth clarified it. You didn't have to pick the next highest voter, but you shouldn't have just forgot about him. That was nothing but a jab to Mayor slander. That's all it was about. That's why you're up here. How can we poke him? Let's poke him. You're not here for the right reasons. You should see that. You're smart enough, Dave.
Mr. President,
You done, Mr. Nelson? Okay,
I'm done.
thank you. Councilwoman Pollock?
yeah, I do have something to say here. And what I have to say is, you can hear all the hearsay that you want. I never said one bad thing about Mr. Lambert, because you know why? I'm related to him, and according to the state of Ohio, I can't even talk about him, especially with this position right here. Now, the reason I approached Mr. Andrus is because of his background with the city. I know that you and Mr. Rizzo or Rizwald, or however he wants to be addressed, I know that you guys have held so much against me because of when you being on the fire department, not answering the calls. That's not my problem.
Mr.
I have
Nelson,
the floor.
Hang on a minute,
have the
Mr.
floor.
Nelson, she has the floor.
I have the floor. Now, whatever grudges you have against me, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Say whatever you want. But to put words in my mouth is wrong. I have nothing against Mr. Lambert. I don't. I could not vote for him because it goes against the state law of nepotism. I can't even talk about him. So that is why I wanted my vote to count. So I myself questioned him if he wanted it. He said, yes, I know his background. When I spoke to Mr. Andrus about possibly being on council. That is what happened. So whatever you guys want to drum up about me, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry you still hold grudges. I'm sorry you're still all upset. But this needs to be, we need to move forward from this. That's where we need to go, is we need to move forward. If we're going to heal this city council, what we need to do is we need to take what we have right now and move forward with it. I'm sorry that you're still holding a grudge. There's nothing I can do to help you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Councilwoman Pollock. Next up is Frank Kors, Burnhaven. Frank, welcome back, Frank.
Frank Kors, 542 Brenhaven. I just have one question. That I was here at the last meeting. We were shoved through pretty quick, and I didn't get a chance to ask. And I hate to beat a dead horse, but this is back on the data centers. According to what news reports, ground is being broken this year. Is that true? Is it a done deal? News reports have said that in Oregon, ground will be broken this year for a data center.
Mr. President, if I may.
Mr. Major.
Thank you, and thank you for that question, and thank you for your concerns. As of right now, we have a purchase agreement in place with a company that intends to develop a data center. Whether they break ground this year or not hasn't been determined. So They have to go through engineering, they have to go through the site planning process. That's a long process. These are
Okay, I get that.
typically
And that- so-
big buildings, so. I
So
don't have an answer
it'll
for
take
that.
a while for them to build, which I understand, but what you're telling me is as far as the city's concerned, it will be sold to them for that purpose.
As of right now, the city has a purchase agreement. Right now, we're working through a negotiation for an economic development package. And in that package, will have to be brought forward to city council for approval. So that's as far as we can take it at this point. So that's the information that we have that's in hand.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Kors. Next up is Mr. Glenn Reining. Mr. Reining, please state your name and address.
Hello, my name's Glenn Ryan. I'm at 3072 Carskadden Avenue, Toledo, Ohio. And I'm here today as an advocate for a bill that's at the State House right now. It's called HB 289. I've sent it out to you guys in your emails. You should have received it at 6 o'clock tonight. It's called the Establish Ohio Healthcare Plan for Universal Health Coverage. And it's sponsored by Michelle Grimm and Tristan Rader from Lakeland. There's a companion bill, Senate Bill 78, which is sponsored by Senator Paula Hicks Hudson and Senator Bill DeMora, and that's called the Establish and Operate the Ohio Healthcare Plan. And the reason why this is needed is because with the federal healthcare cuts coming up, you're going to see at least 700,000 Ohioans alone losing their health care. And this also dovetails into the fact that in Lucas County, 34,000 people are up for losing their health care. And not only that, but you're going to see doctors losing their revenue. You're going to see ancillary departments like physical therapy, respiratory therapy, pharmacies. They're all going to be taken ahead. Now, the costing to fund this thing is based on, and there's going to be a 3.85% removal from an employer payroll and the gross receipts for an employer is going to be 3%. For employees, that 6.2% will be coming out of their Social Security. And so that's how the funds going to be generated. And then if you're also making over $200,000 and over, you'll be taxed at 5% extra to pay for this funding. And everything from soup to nuts is covered from it. You have your health care, you have your pharmacy, but what's most important is nursing home care is covered too. And that way, the scenario that we've seen a lot is people work and they save up their nest egg and then their spouse or their loved one winds up getting a stroke, having a heart attack, having to wind up in nursing home care. And then in order to pay for it, they have to deplete their assets. This protects their assets. And also, I had a buddy of mine, we wanted to see just exactly like a real world type of thing. We pulled out his pay stubs and we looked at it last year. And for his pay, he paid $7,870 for his payment. And that includes what the employer took out, his deductibles, his co-pays, and also he had $650 on a splint that he had to get his wife that was out of pocket. With HB 289, if it's enacted, his health care costs for that year would have been $4,240. So there's definite savings here. And this is going to affect you guys because by putting your own universal health care on the thing, it protects your firefighters, it protects your police officers by lowering their health care costs. And I would also mention that the Toledo, I was talking about HB 289 to the Toledo Finance Council. Toledo's $8 million over budget this year on their health care cost. And for employers, Each employer has to maintain an overhead structure to administer health care. And the Cleveland, like for example, Cleveland RTA has to cut services now because their health care insurance went up 18%.
30 seconds, Mr. Rennie.
And so anyway, this is a cost that they have to absorb. So to put Oregon on a stronger financial footing, I urge you to make a resolution and try to talk to your state representatives about pushing for Health Bill 289. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next up, Amy Mottmiller.
Good evening. Amy Mottmiller, 5040 Corduroy Road. I want to speak today about this council's function as a body, what represents reasonable expectations from that process. A healthy council operates with open discussion, shared information, and full participation by all members. Unity does not mean agreement, but it does mean that discussions are shaped in the open, with every council member having the access to the same information at the same time. Right now, this council, or it has, not shown appear to be operating in that way. Significant matters are surfacing without prior discussion by the full body. Information appears to be known by only part of council, with little opportunity for open dialogue before actions begin to move forward. That is not unity, that is fragmentation. We are told that there's a purchase agreement, but not an economic package for the data center. At the same time, residents whose homes were purchased originally were told that they had 16 to 18 months to relocate, and they're now being asked to move by March. That is not a small change, that is a meaningful acceleration. We are also told that a load study and environmental reviews are still pending. If those reviews are not complete, it is reasonable for residents to ask what has changed to justify a shortened relocation timeline. Then when timelines move forward, something has moved forward. So the questions are simple. What new information exists that altered the timeline? When was that information discussed? Was it discussed with all the present council at that time? And why has that information not been clearly communicated to the public? Residents should not have to infer process from eviction deadlines. Council members should not be learning critical information after actions are already underway. Trust is built on clarity, openness, and inclusion. Once trust is lost, it's difficult to restore. Unity is not about being on the same side of an issue. It's about being on the same page with information, process, and responsibility to the public. I ask this council to recommit to open discussion, shared knowledge, and transparency before further actions are taken that permanently affect the residents and future of our community. So those questions again were, what new information exists that altered the timeline? When was the information discussed, and was all the council included in those discussions, and why that information is not clearly communicated to the public?
Mr. President,
Mr. Major?
I'm assuming you're referring to that the homeowners that are still living in the houses on that corner
Yes.
have been contacted
Yes,
directly by the potential developer.
yes.
The city was not privy to any of those conversations. That was an action that was taken upon the developer to contact them directly.
Okay.
So we were not privy to those conversations. That's something that they wanted to do. We stayed out of it.
Okay. That just leads to people assuming that there's more than that being agreed upon, because, you know.
Yeah, I guess, Mr. President, and Ms. Mottmiller, I can't disagree with you. But us being out of that conversation, that's a private transaction. And that's a private transaction that they would like to keep private. If somebody wants to contact us, nobody has contacted, at least me. I don't know about anybody else up here, but I don't believe that anybody else from the city, staff-wise or on city council, or the mayor have been contacted about any potential future transactions between the developer and the
So then how does
homeowners.
that economic development plan that you're talking about, that economic package, how does that fit into it then?
Yeah, from the city's involvement, we have a purchase agreement since the city with the OEDF, through the OEDF owns the land. We have a purchase agreement with the developer. And in that purchase agreement, there are timelines. So there's a closing timeline in that. That purchase agreement was modified twice. One of them had to do, one of the first amendment that came before city council had to do with a title commitment. They couldn't meet the timeline of, I believe it was 90 days, so we had to extend that. And the other had to do with the, just meeting some of the other due diligence items. You mentioned the environmental due diligence item. And that is still out there, so to speak. And the reason for that is that we are waiting on the confirmation from the ODNR that we would receive grant funds to perform work to close historic wells, oil wells, gas wells, is what they could. It's the orphan gas well program through the state of Ohio. I believe it's through the state, it's through ODNR, but some of the funds that might come through the state fire marshal's office too. So, but that, and there are certain circumstances that happened with a delay in the award of funds. One of the reasons is that there was actually an accident where several people were injured during the closure of one of the wells. They halted all other projects using those funds and put a pause on any new awards until they could investigate what happened with that.
Okay.
So there was a longer than expected delay in the award of the funds due to that accident for the environmental review portion.
Not here, right? It was someplace.
Yes, it was somewhere in southern Ohio. I think it was southeast Ohio. So as for the timeline changes, as you mentioned, again, that's a determination from the developer. And I don't have anything to confirm with anybody on why they would like to expedite that timeline, but they have their reasons. And I will definitely carry that back and see if they would be willing to give us an answer that we could deliver back, if
Okay.
that's amenable to you.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
just a couple quick questions. Ms. Miller, I'm sorry, before you sit down, because it sounds like you may have a little better insight, because this is the first I've heard of that. The property that you're talking about that the developers have reached out to, is this one of the properties that has already been acquired, or is this a different property?
One of the properties that have been acquired where the homeowners are still residing in those homes.
Okay. Well, in the fact that we have a purchase agreement not executed, not closed, I believe that option still remains with us. I would suggest we reach out to the developers and let them know if they want to have conversations, we need to be brought into the loop, because I don't like learning about this here either. At least we know what the conversation is, and, you know, we can either coach or take part in that, or at least know what's going on. If it was a new acquisition, they wanted a property for whatever reason may be, I can understand that. But if these are part of the purchase contract that's already in place, then I would think all that conversation needs to go through us as far as for timelines, because de facto, it's still us as the owner of the property. Is that a fair request? I'll leave it to you guys. But I think we should ask them for at least our inclusion.
Mr. Major.
Mr. President, Mr. Horniak, yeah, duly noted. My understanding is that our agreement with them right now goes until the expiration date, which is March 21st, or March 31st, excuse me. So March 31st, so they are asking if the homeowners would vacate on or about that date. So that would be outside of the closing date. So if we got to a point where we would get to a closing, then it would be outside of the timeline that's spelled out in the purchase agreement. So that's why it's been handled as a private transaction, and we're not part of that conversation. But I will definitely relay that, ask for an explanation to see if there's any insights that they'd be willing to provide, if That's,
Please. Thank you.
Right, thank you, Mr. Horniak, Mr. Major. Next up to speak is Mr. Jim Davis.
Jim Davis, 5494 Bay Shore Road. I'd like to start out by honoring the couple that was killed last week.
Hold
I
tight.
didn't know them personally, but my wife did. And it's a tragedy. All right. Good evening. What I'd like to talk about this evening is something that's come up a lot in our area, transparency. It seems that almost all the economic development activities in Lucas County and here in Oregon have been shrouded in a cloud of secrecy, whether it's NDAs or hidden by private economic development organizations. It seems that the data center developers have a common goal to hide their activities and negotiations with our public officials from the public. Now, they will claim that it is because of competition, but their goal is clearly about getting their foot in the door before anyone from the public finds out. And when it does come out, it is sugar-coated with talk of the jobs and revenue to the schools, townships, and cities without any mention of the negative consequences that these hyperscale data centers bring to their surrounding communities. And these deals are heavily subsidized by tax abatements and other incentives that transfer the burden from private industry to taxpayers. This effort started here in Oregon, but it quickly spread to all of Lucas County and the surrounding area with many of the same local officials and ex-officials heavily involved in the effort. We started the UNO group to present the other side. We were quickly bombarded by internet trolls who may benefit from the data center but do not actually live here, will not have to deal with the negative consequences these massive data centers will bring to our communities. The OEDF membership, the Lucas County Development Organization, are heavily stacked with ex-officials and companies that may benefit if the data center goes through. So there is little incentive for them to question or even to consider these negative consequences. And because of the secretive nature of these organizations, the public has no opportunity to see what incentives or secret deals the board members or former city officials have already made or what inside information they are privy to. From early on, I have made inquiries with the Oregon Law Director as to any communications, emails, phone logs, et cetera, regarding the data center. What I've gotten is a lot of delays, foot dragging, and irrelevant and duplicative information, all of which is lacking any substance. It is extremely hard to believe that this whole deal happened without any documented communications between the OEDF, the developer, and the city, yet that is what I got in response. All of which leads me to distrust the city's sincerity in their compliance with the open records law. As to the OEDF, I did make inquiries, yet I was told by their attorney that as a 503C organization, they are not obligated legally to share that information, despite receiving substantial financial support from the city to the tune of $100,000 annually. The city does have a representative on the board of the OEDF, but this official was asked to sign a non-disclosure agreement for the data center project, which, by the way, I also did not receive a copy of. It is also noteworthy that the title to the land for the data center was transferred to OEDF immediately after it was purchased and rezoned. So at this point, the disposition and control of that land is in the hands of the OEDF. Once again, not being subject to disclosure as to what is happening with it at this point. Some of you will recall a similar situation a couple of years ago when the OEDF dragged its feet on disclosure of the disposition of the proceeds from the sale of the land for the town center project. I have received similar treatment as to the incident which occurred on December 8th council meeting. Immediately after the meeting in question, I made inquiries as to any communications between the excuse me, the four council members, the law director, and others. The response I have received so far is disappointing.
30 seconds.
It would seem that either this information is being deliberately withheld or that serious effort was made to evade communication evade documenting any communications regarding this nomination and vote. It is fortunate that this meeting was recorded, so all of what occurred is documented on video record, because frankly, the meeting minutes I did receive were incomplete and lacked any detail as to what actually happened. All of which flies in the face of the spirit and substance of the Ohio Open Records Law, which is designed to promote transparency and honesty in government. How can we as citizens trust that our public officials are working in our best interest when they hide behind non-disclosure agreements and private economic development organizations which seem to only serve business interests rather than that of ordinary citizens?
Mr. Davis, time's up. I'm sorry. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Next up, Laura Davis.
Laura Davis, 5494 Bay Shore Road. First of all, I want to congratulate Mr. Drake and Mr. Gibbs for your
Thank you.
appointment to council. Just wanted to, again, talk about the open meeting violation or alleged violation. Regarding the meeting of December 8th, Mr. Andrus was voted in as a new council member. It's nothing against him personally, it's just the way it was done. And just so many things that happened that night. That vote could have been prevented, and it wasn't. The vote was not listed on the agenda. Two council members and even the mayor were not aware of the nomination or pending vote. When Mr. Solander requested that the vote be tabled until the next meeting, he was denied and ignored by then Council President Terry Reeves. Beth Ackerman asked several questions regarding the vote and acknowledged that she had no advance notice, claiming that it was a possible violation of the Sunshine Law. The four council persons admitted they had spoken about Mr. Andrus' appointment or nomination prior to the meeting. When Melissa Purpura was asked if the vote was legal, she replied, all it needed was a second to the motion. This vote could have been stopped by the city attorney, Melissa Purpura, by stating that further investigation was needed and it was possibly a violation of the Sunshine Law. Instead, she said the motion just needs a second and the vote was allowed to proceed. So this is all on public record. Some were watching in person, some were watching from home. There were several witnesses. We as voters voted for honesty and transparency in November. The corruption and dishonesty will no longer be tolerated by the citizens. We are aware and we are awake. Any trust in our government has been broken. It's time for a clean sweep to restore integrity to our city. And also I wanted to make another comment about the data center where the developer apparently didn't inform the council that they were kicking these people out of their homes. Do you really want to do business with people that are going behind your back? This is how the citizens feel, that all this is going on behind our back. They're doing it to you too, going behind your back. Do you really want to do business with people like that? And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mrs. Davis. Thank you. All right. The first item, that concludes. Does anybody else want to speak? Yeah, please come to the podium, Mr. Lambrecht. Name and address, please.
Thomas Lambrecht, 5238 Seaman Road. Although I appreciate everybody that comes here and is concerned about what has happened here, I have not brought any of these people here. They're coming here on their own. I haven't asked any of them. I appreciate what they're doing because I agree with what they're doing. Whether they voted for me or not, they were worried about the voters' will. It wasn't followed. Ms. Pollock just stated that her vote is more important than 1,942 other votes. She just stated it 10 minutes ago, okay? So, although she didn't have anything, if she says if she can't vote for me, that's fine. I understand the whole situation. She can't talk about it. Well, by her getting somebody else to run is almost putting her in a spot of saying, well, I'm against Mr. Lambrecht because I went and got somebody else because I can't vote for him. Because my vote, I wanted my vote to count. That's exactly what she said. I wanted my vote to count. 1,942 people want their vote to count too. Okay? That's all I'm gonna say about it. I understand that it's not the next highest vote getter. I get it. I deal with it. I'm not happy about the way things went down, and we'll see what the courts have to say about it. But that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the first item on the agenda for discussion is item 001-2026, being presented by Mayor Solander. Mr. Solander.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is our annual ordinance giving the ability for basically all of our department heads to go out and request bids for various different projects that are part of the budget. And that's pretty much it.
Okay. Council, any questions, comments? Hearing none, I seek a motion to move item 001-2026 to next week's agenda.
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniman, is
so moved.
there a second?
Second.
Second, Ms. Pauloff, thank you. Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Horniak, seconded by Ms. Pauloff to move item 001-2026 to next week's agenda. Council, are there any objections? Hearing none, item 001-2026 is moved to next week's agenda. The next item on the agenda is item 002-2026, being presented by Mayor Solander and Police Chief Brandon Began. Mr. Began.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance is necessary to enter into an agreement with Owens Community College Center for Law Enforcement and Professional Development Training. They run the Owens Consortium, which brings together multiple agencies in Northwest Ohio for training opportunities at Owens Community College. It brings in near 100 courses per year. The annual fee for our department is $1,050. It's very beneficial. It gets our officers trained up. Most of the classes are included in the $1,050 entry fee. There are some classes that do have a fee above that to enter into the course. We use it quite a bit, and our officers go throughout the year for that. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Good. Council, any questions or comments? Mr. Began, I have one question. Do they, it's my understanding the city pays for their training, correct? When they go through the academy?
Well, through the academy, if we have to send somebody through the police academy itself, we do have to pay for the academy unless they go to State Highway Patrol Academy, which is, there's no fees associated with that. This consortium does not have to do with the police academy itself, though. These are individual trainings for continued professional training, firearms training. There's a lot of different trainings that come here, but it's not related to the initial police academy.
Okay, thank you. Council, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I seek a motion to move item 002-2026 to next week's agenda.
Mr. President,
Ms. Pauloff,
so moved.
is there a second? Okay, motion made by Ms. Pauloff, seconded by Mr. Walczak. Hearing none, it will be moved to next week's agenda. Thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is item 003-2026, being presented by Mayor Solander and Public Service Director Paul Roman. Mr. Roman.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance is needed to purchase a polymer for the wastewater treatment plant. SNF Polydyne is the sole supplier for the Clarifloc polymer. This polymer is used to help us dewater sludge. It's a byproduct of the wastewater treatment process. Unit price quote is included in Exhibit A. It is about 5 cents per pound more than it was a year ago, about a 3% increase. But it is needed for the wastewater treatment process. So happy to answer any questions.
Okay, council, is there any questions? Is there a motion to put it on next week's agenda? Council.
Mr. President,
Ms. Pollock,
so moved.
is there a second?
Second.
All right, motion made by Ms. Pollock, seconded by Ms. Ackerman. Harry, where's that at? Shit, I can't even see with my glasses. Council, is there any other objections? Hearing none, item 002 dash, oh, it's 3. Okay, that one was 2, you're right. Okay. Items 002, 2026 is moved to next week's agenda. Okay, sorry about that. It was numbered wrong. The next item on the agenda is item 004, 2026, being presented by Mayor Salander and Public Service Director Paul Roman. Mr. Roman.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance is needed to purchase another chemical for the wastewater treatment plant. It's called ferrous chloride. And out of 2 quotes received, Camara was determined to be the lowest and best quote, as noted in Exhibit A. And there's a calculation done by John Bella at the bottom of each page, which clearly shows Camara is the lowest and best quote. And ferrous chloride is used at the wastewater treatment plant to flocculate pollutants in the wastewater, meaning it gets it to settle out. And when you have these dry years, you need more of the chemical, unfortunately. So in previous years, you know, the water plant always goes out for their annual bids. It may be something where if we're going to constantly have a drought, we just include it with the overall chemical bids that water does. And that way, maybe we can get even a better, a lower quote at that time. So I just wanted to mention that. So happy to answer any other questions on it.
Thank you, Mr. Roman. Councilors, is there any questions? Hearing none, I make a motion to move item 004, 2026 to next week's agenda.
Mr. President,
Ms. Pollock.
so moved.
All right, thank you. Is there a second? Second, Mr. Walczak. Thank you. We have a motion by Ms. Pollock, seconded by Mr. Walczak to move item 004, 2026 to next week's agenda. Council, are there any objections? Hearing none, item 004, 2026 is moved to next week's agenda. Next item on the agenda is discussion of item 005, 2025, being presented by Mayor Salander and Public Service Director Paul Roman. Mr. Roman.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance is needed to authorize the mayor to sign a submerged land lease with Ohio Department of Natural Resources. The submerged land lease is a requirement in order for the city to improve a dike on the city's property across from the UT Lake Erie Research Center. We did receive approval from council a couple years ago. Fortunately, it takes 2 years to get a submerged land lease. And we have met with the adjacent property owners next to the improvement, worked through several designs, and I believe they are happy with what we have so far. And it is our plan to improve that project. It is still, or to proceed with the improvement, but we still need to get an Army Corps permit. So, but to get the Army Corps permit, you needed the submerged land lease approval. So that's what this represents. And this is simply authorizing the mayor to be able to sign it. We just felt like, as much as we had the authorization by council to apply for it, you could go with that and have the mayor sign it. But we thought, no, let's just do an ordinance to make sure he's authorized to sign it. So that's it. Happy to answer any questions. Oh, let me say this. It is a cost of $1 per year. And they were gonna send us an invoice for $1 every year for the next 50 years. I said, just give me an invoice for $50. And they did that. So that's included in Exhibit A. So that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Roman. Counselor, is there any other questions or comments?
Mr. President.
Mr. Horniak.
Mr. Roman, just in layman's terms, I was kind of looking through it a little bit earlier as well. What exactly is that improvement design going to be or look like? Can you briefly just give us an idea of what that is?
If you're not familiar with the area on Bayshore Road, across from the UT Research Center, years ago, we constructed a dike that pretty much ran east-west, and then it went up the north side, went up the east side of this washout, which is like the backyards of the people on Luray. And the dike only went so far. It stopped short. I think that was always upsetting to the property owners. There was always a debate. There was a little boat launch that was there, and it was a question how far you could go with that dike. But this is pretty much finishing what we intended to do, which was to go all the way north on the east side of this washout. And it isn't just, we still want to allow some, the property owners do use the city property for some personal use, and we get that. And you don't want to necessarily take away their enjoyment of seeing the lake, and we've worked through different improvements, but basically it's putting in a lot of riprap, rock, that would protect that entire neighborhood. And most of you are familiar, you get a northeast wind, it comes at us from the northeast. Well, on the east side of a washout, you don't necessarily see that direct run up, but the lake itself can raise 7 feet quite quickly. And this is just to further protect the residents on Luray. So it is just pretty much raising the dike, going all the way along the east side of the washout to the lake, and you're also adding rock in the state's waters, and that's why you need the submerged land lease to place the rock in the water area. Okay?
Very good. Appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Roman. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you,
Mr.
Mr.
President?
Harnett. Thank you, Mr. Roman.
Mr. President, sorry, I'm a little hoarse. I just want to thank you, Mr. Roman. I want to thank the city for being above board and taking the very economically reasonable steps to do things the legal way when it comes to our lakefront. And I just really appreciate that. And I hope that we can get the rest of the shoreline into compliance in the, as we move through this process, especially now that you got all that practice getting the submerged land lease. But I want to thank you, because it really, hearing that it's $1, I just can't even understand. And I know the wheels turn slowly, and that's not enough for some people, but it's a step in the right direction for us as a city, I think. Thank you.
Okay, council, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I'd like to seek a motion to move items 005, 2026 to next week's agenda. Thank you, Mr. Wallenczak. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Ackerman. Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Wallenczak, seconded by Ms. Ackerman, to move item 005, 2026 to next week's agenda. Council, are there any objections? Hearing none, item 005, 2026 is moved to next week's agenda. Good quiz, trick thing. Okay. The next item on for the agenda is item 006, 2026, being presented by Mayor Salander and Finance Director Nicholas Roman. Mr. Roman.
Thank you, Mr. President. This item is needed to amend a portion of the income tax, part of the municipal code. There is one small word change. It's on page 19, if you want to look through to find it. Basically, what it's saying is that any employer who has to withhold taxes and pay to the federal government using electronic sources, we are also going to require that. In the past, it said we may require it, we will require it going forward. Most employers do this already. It's just every once in a while we'll get one that doesn't want to, and they say, well, it doesn't say you have to, but they're just changing the wording helps our tax administrator in terms of enforcing that. The next part is on page 20. And again, this is something that is based on federal rules as well. Beginning in tax year 2025, employers with more than 10 employees are required to submit W-2s electronically to the commissioner in the same format provided to the Social Security Administration or other electronic format approved by the commissioner. And then the last part is on page 24, and it's for all individuals, businesses, or employers or brokers who are required under the Internal Revenue Code to furnish 1099 forms to the IRS. They're also going to be required to furnish those to the city as well. And this is just to make sure we're getting all of people's payments and that we're getting all the taxes that should be being paid to the city. If there's questions on it, I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Roman. Council, any questions or comments? Hearing none, I will seek a motion to move item 006, 2026 to next week's agenda.
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
so moved.
All right, thank you. Is there a second?
I second that.
Seconded by Mr. Gibbs. Thank you. We have a motion by Mr. Horniak, seconded by Mr. Gibbs to move item 006, 2026 to next week's agenda. Council, are there any objections? Hearing none, item 006, 2026 is moved to next week's agenda. Okay. With all the items on the agenda being considered, we will now move on to the mayor's report. And just, we'll let the mayor go first, and there's no order after this, so we're not going alphabetically tonight. So be ready. Mr. Landers.
Well, at least I know I'm first. That's good. Safe. I did nothing from my standing committee. I've actually have no other appointments, just a congratulations to China and also to Mr. Drake and Mr. Gibbs and Mr. Wallenczak for your swearing in this evening. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, we'll start with Mr. Wallenczak.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report this evening.
All righty, thank you. How about Mrs. Ackerman?
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to echo those same sentiments. Welcome to Ms. Pfeiffer, sorry, and congratulations to Dennis and to Mr. Gibbs. I'm just going to call you Gibbs.
Sure.
Okay, cool. Thank you. There's too many Pauls, too many Steves. We got to do something. So, and anyway, and from my standing committee, I am working, I got something from Amy Stone about, it's a small grant, but it's a spotted lanternfly project. So I'm working on that to hopefully, it's a whopping $15,000, but we'll take it if we can get it. So we met Keith Henninger and Paul Ackerman. He's a horticulturist, landscaper, my brother-in-law. He's been on the tree commission longer than Keith's worked for the city. But anyway, we did meet at Eastmoreland, so we are putting together a plan for that boulevard. But I would like to have discussion about possibly having a resolution, doing something along the lines to commemorate all the hard work of Don Charlton. And I have different people mention that to me, and so maybe that boulevard may be somewhere, something that we can, I know we're not keen on putting names on anything. I know where Paul Roman's like, don't put a name on it.
No, I was gonna say, don't put the tree over the catch basin.
Right. Oh, no. No, and, but anyway, if anyone has any ideas, anybody in the public or on council or in the administration, if you have any ideas for a way we can honor Mr. Charlton's service to the city as a volunteer, I would appreciate it. Thank you, that's all.
Okay, Mr. Horniak?
Thank you, Mr. President. No report from my standing committee, but I guess I'm going to ask the question again. Are we any closer to having a visit set up for a data center?
Mr. President, Mr. Horniak, I've tried to have multiple conversations, and no, we're nowhere closer. I spoke to the individual that gave us a tour the last time, and he had given me the runaround, essentially asking if Lauren had got a hold of me and did not. And so I have not, since the holidays, I have not reached out. That was prior to the holiday break. I figure I could reach out one more time, but it doesn't sound like they're interested once it was the elected officials. So that's all that's all I know right now.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mazur, perhaps there's another avenue, perhaps through Mr. Turner or somebody else that could maybe help facilitate that. And I'll just share, you know, for all those out there that, you know, have asked the question or said it's a done deal, it's through, there are other steps that have to be followed through this. But I, by happenstance, sat at a dinner function table about a month ago with people who have worked to build and develop data centers. So that 90 minutes of dinner was very educational, very informative, had a lot of great conversations, and I would like to go in and see these ourselves. So I think the better, the sooner we can do that. I will just speak for myself, but I'm sure all other council members have busy schedules and they book out in quite some time. In order for us to do this, if we're looking at a March potential into the data center and a closing somewhere on or around that time or after that time, we're literally at 60 to 75 days before we may be asked to act on that. And I would certainly like to get inside of one of these. And I know they're not going to just take my call and say, yes, Steve, come on in. But maybe Mr. Turner can help facilitate that for us, if we could. And that's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Horniak. Okay, Ms. Powell.
No report, Mr. President.
All right, thanks, Ms. Powell. Mr. Andres. I'm sorry. I'll never get it right.
No report.
All right, thank you. Mr. Major.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just wanted to say congratulations to you on your nomination and election to the council president. Congratulations to Mr. Paul J. Gibbs on your election, and now you're official, you're sworn in, and congratulations to Mr. Dennis Wallenczak, who is now the longest sitting council member up here. So that's a good thing. I mean that as the best, because that is a standing, you know, you're standing the test of time. That's meaningful. The other thing is, Ms. Pfeiffer, congratulations to you as well. Looking forward to meeting with you. And that's all I have, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Major. Mr. P. Roman.
No report, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, Mr. Roman. Mr. Gibbs.
Mr. President, as the chairman of the Water and Sewers Committee, I have nothing to report at this time.
All right. Are you sure?
Absolutely.
All right. All right. I believe your name's on here twice, Paul. You want to talk more, or no?
No, Drake.
Okay. Yeah. The only thing I have is I had some calls. I drove by. Some people say it's easy for me to complain about because Holly Drive doesn't have sidewalks. I know on Route 2, and I talked to Mr. Roman a little bit earlier about this. I know there wasn't a lot of snow, but there was enough snow for some people with issues, especially on Coy, from Coy to Wheeling. There was a very few businesses that had shoveled or done anything, and I know I brought this up in the past. The last 4 years, there are a lot of people that live in the assisted living places, and hopefully, and I talked to Mr. Roman today, I wanted to bring it up because some citizens wanted me to. So I'm going to bring it up, and I know in the past, you've sent letters out. I'm not trying to steal your thunder, Paul, but sending letters out and just for that. So hopefully it'll be good. One of them was a business owner. I'm not going to say where. I had 2 phone calls from him last night about 2 different issues with people and electric wheelchairs and things of that matter. And hopefully that'll happen. I know in the past, I know on Route 2, when I worked for the city, they would keep plowing and plowing, and then poor people that live between Wheeling and 280, there's nowhere to put it. And I know the city, Keith and Paul and Joel, they've been pretty good about, they have a little Bobcat buggy that cleans it up. And I know it's a production, but a lot of people do use the sidewalks, and mainly for anybody, especially the handicap. So if we can do something with that. I know you're working on it, Paul, so I just wanted to bring that up. Other than that, congratulations to Dennis, Mr. Gibbs, and look forward to working with everybody. Thanks again for putting me in as council president. I appreciate it. And Mr. Roman, I know you wanted something to say, or no?
I just fine either way. I think the letter that went through building and zoning, but it is outdated. I mean, it does need to be revised a little bit. But I did talk to I did drive it at lunch as well and talk to the inspectors. And last time what they did is they just copied this letter and handed it out to every store. Well, you may just get, a kid who's working there that, they don't know what to do with it. I almost think it needs to be mailed to the actual owner of the facility. And there's not a lot of teeth in this code. I mean, this code was written in 1959. The fine is $100. I think for some commercial, they may not care, So I'll look into it, and I'll as a minimum, I'll redo the letter through building and zoning with the proper cover letter and so on. But I do think we should question some of the fines that are in here and to help out.
Okay, so for right now, if the city wanted to, I don't know, do they get a warning first, or a blue card or a red card, and then
It's
$100
written,
fine?
it's written as a fine no greater than $100 is how it's written.
So the city could send that if they want.
Yeah. So
Without a warning.
And see, and let's be fair too, so as how all of us know Navarre, the sidewalk's right up on the road. So let's just say you shovel it and then the plows come by, put snow right on it, it makes it difficult. But like you said, Paul, we've done that where if it's a big event, we'll come back and help them out. But all we're asking is cut a 3-foot path, and they're already paying these guys to plow their parking lot, So it's, as much as it seems easy to fine them, there's some give and take here.
Yeah.
The minimum is to get the letter out.
Right. And my point is not to go out and hammer the businesses that are here, but just to make sure that, and it's not just Route 2, I get a lot of complaints on the 280 overpass where people walk, and I know the street department's been real good with it, and I'm sure they still will be. All right, thank you. Okay, if there's no other further business before council, I seek a motion to adjourn. Mr. Walczak?
Second.
Second by Ms. Pauloff. Council, any objections? This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.